Hello, all you heroes, villains, and innocent bystanders. Welcome to another episode of an Angel and Her Unicorn, comic book reviews. I'm Alan the Unicorn, and with me is a special guest today. She's filling in for James. James decided he wanted to abandon us and go to a business trip. I think he just went for somewhere with fun. He just off gallivanting.
I don't believe it.
Being a schmoozer with all the ladies.
Yes, he's dead to us today.
He is dead to us today. He said he might try to film something and see if he can get a review in. If he does, then I'll try to post it with our videos. If he doesn't, then we'll hopefully bring him back in a couple weeks and he can tell us about all his adventures. With me today, though, is filling in
Monica the Harpy.
Yes, that's a good one. I like that. I did not ask. I didn't know if she was going to come up with a name or not, but I like the Harpy. That's awesome.
It fits.
This is also the mother of Kelly the Dragon and Raylan the Hyena. So lots of family ties here today. And we will be spoiling the books of the week. So if you haven't read your books, you may want to take a break, read your books, and then come back to us later. Or if you're letting us spoil them, we'll spoil them profusely for you. And it'll be like you read them anyways. So
Just as fulfilling.
Just as fulfilling. So without further ado, do you want to go first since you're a special guest star?
I will give it a go.
I was going to say ladies first, but then I would have to go first, but we'll let you go first.
Agree.
So what are you going to pick?
In no way will I be nearly as proficient and eloquent as the other people that have been on the panel, but I truly enjoy reading and discovering the different characters.
I just thought it was really exciting when James told me he wasn't gonna be able to make it. I was like, man, what am I gonna do? I was like, people get tired of hearing me by myself because like I feel like it's so hard when you don't have anybody to play off of. You know, it's hard when you're by yourself because it's hard to make jokes or it's hard to see things outside of the box when you're looking at things. So it's different when there's like a person next to you.
Yes, and you can get different interpretations.
Yes. So I was like, Monica, I can talk her into doing this.
I was happy to join. I will start probably at, let's see, I'll pull up the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, Asgardians of the Galaxy number 7.
And this
and
book,
just so we're clear, this is your first foray into comics for the most part.
Yeah.
Little things here and there, but this is pretty much, you haven't read any of these books on a regular basis or anything like that. So
no. I've always obviously had an appreciation for the comic book world, growing up with the old school X-Men cartoon, which I loved so much. And then I would always read the encyclopedias. I loved the backstories. Those are my favorites. And so I kind of just jumped in with the Asgardians, having not quite as strong familiarity with it.
I give her choices, and this was one of her picks. So.
Yes, because obviously I really enjoyed the Marvel interpretation of the movies a lot. I really enjoyed those. So it starts at a battle scene, and
real quick, let's go ahead and do the writer.
Yes,
it's Cullen Bunn, and they have a guest artist, Matteo Bafaguli.
I'm not certain.
And Stefano Landini.
That one sounds...
I feel like we got that one close.
That one's probably the closest.
Matteo, I'm so sorry. Okay, go for it.
So we jump into a battle scene, and immediately recognizable for a novice person like myself is Scourge. Obviously, he was, and then the Loki character. And Yondu is also a couple people that you're familiar with if you're not.
From the movies, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if that's your only experience.
And this is the Marvel's version of Valkyrie.
Yes, so. And I really liked her character a lot. And they open on a battle scene, and they're battling on Ego's planet. And this, at times I found it kind of hard to follow along because they were jumping around a lot, as far as referencing if the planet was safe or not, if they could leave, if they could trust Ego, and so it was torn in several ways.
Yes, this is a really big group book. A lot of characters that if you don't know the characters can get really confusing because they're obscure ones.
Yes,
they're not like mainstream.
Right. But I did enjoy it, and I liked the art, and I really enjoyed the frog Thor
that became
character.
Yeah.
I was not anticipating that or was familiar with him at all, but I thought he was really cute.
Of course you would. Monica's an animal lover, so
yes.
Anything with animals is her jam.
Pretty much, yes. And so I really did enjoy this book, but again, if you're not as familiar, it was kind of harder to follow along. But I really like the Valkyrie character. I enjoyed her character a lot, and her outfit. I liked it.
Yeah. So with this, like, the basic story of this one is like if you haven't read it, I've read the past ones. Is they came to Ego to they have this horn that is supposed to hilarity ensues when you blow it. Like basically all the undead come and you control the undead, and so they're trying to find a place to put this and kind of get it to Asgard, possibly, to take care of it. So they're just not quite sure what to do with this, and so they've been kind of traveling around. Well, they end up on Ego, where Angela, which is the girl in the gold armor, she finds her old ex-lover, Sira, right. And she's with a band of characters, and so they kind of, then all of a sudden the pirates show up to get the refugees that they have. So with this, like, they're fighting, and it basically comes to find out that they are all fighting on Ego, but Ego is actually being manipulated by his moon, which the moon is like his alter ego, and so the alter ego like is kind of influencing him to do these things, and Ego's like, I really don't want to. And the alter ego's like, do it!
Make them all die.
Kill them all. And so it's basically that, and then once they realize that, then they go to that alter ego where they stop the bad guys or the marauders from influencing him, so that they can, because they were wanting to get the people that pray, and when they pray or when they worship, they like, it forms into like crystals, which are gems, so they can use for money. So yeah, so that's why I kind of like at one point where they praise like the Thor frog, they're like the Thor frog, and they're like, oh, you're our new leader, we love you so much, and then like jewels fall out, and it's like, it's just their way that their worship does, is like it creates gems and money. So then Angela is trying to get Sira to go with them, and Sira's like, no, Ego says we can stay, you know, I don't want to leave because I want to protect these people. Our ways are supposed to part. So
yep. So it ended on a less happy note.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, they were all supposed to be together, and then they end up not, and they also lose a member. Did you get at the end when they lost Kid Loki?
Yes, Kid Loki.
Yeah, because he was a clone or a spell that was from the old Loki.
Yes.
And so he's kind of gone now.
Yeah, and there was the parting moment.
Yes, they were sad.
Between siblings.
Yes, between siblings, because she's the daughter of Odin, and so.
Yeah, it said the first daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then so now I think they're going to try to relaunch it ish. With this War of the Realms that's coming along, so I'm not for sure if they're gonna like if they're gonna reform the team, if they're gonna find another teammate for them. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I really like the art on the soon to be cover. I really like their costuming and stuff.
Yeah, I like the art a lot.
Yeah, the art was really good. It was different. Like they said, this is a guest artist. I really liked the way they did it. However, I was with you. I almost, even reading this, I got a little confused about who was what. Because a lot of times they would have like two different characters, and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that was the hardest part, like, to follow for me. I was like, where is everyone going?
Who is this person? Have they been there the whole time?
I'm not certain.
Yes. So that I thought it was really interesting. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to go with it. But I've been following the characters. I've been following the book since it started. So, it's not my favorite book, but it's a middle of the road book for me. So, coming into it new, what would you rate it?
I would say a 3, just because it was harder to follow. But I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the art. But as far as a beginner person jumping in,
see, and I would say a 3 out of 5, just because it's a middle of the road book. It's not like there's not really anything really crazy about it, but I like the characters. They're kind of fun. Some of them are kind of funny, like the frog and the thunder strike and the Kid Loki, and so that I don't know, it's just I really feel like it has potential, but it hasn't kind of leapt up there yet. So I read it every week, but it's not something I'm going, oh my god, I can't wait for that issue. So All right, so I will do... I think I'm going to do Assassination. Let me find it. Oh, I think I may have... Nope, there it is. Assassination, #1. It's an Image comic, new, obviously #1, new series. Kyle Starks is a creator and writer, and then the co-creator, artist, and covers are Erica Henderson, which she did Unbeatable Squirrel Girl for a while.
Oh, okay.
And so she's doing this book, which is a completely different twist from Squirrel Girl. So it starts off with, it shows you the top 20 assassins of this world.
Okay.
Assassin rankings, 1 through 20. And then it talks about this guy. He's kind of trying to get information from the snitch, and he basically threatens him. And the next thing you know, somebody's trying to assassinate this guy that's interrogating him. So his bodyguards kind of trying to take him in somewhere. He's like, no, we should go to the other side. He's like, no, they pulled her on the other side. So they go and they blow up the car. You think he's going to die. So, but come to find out later, he doesn't. Anyways, so they cuts to this place where there's one of the characters is putting their guns on this tray, and it says, for the safety of yourself, leave all your guns. And the guy's like, what is this? Like a take a penny, leave a penny kind of thing. So they're all leaving their guns, and it shows the guy that was supposed to kind of look like he was going to die. Shows him showing up, and they kind of have a back and forth because this particular guy the African-American guy is like the new #1 assassin. And the other guy that was interrogating the person was the old #1 assassin. And he was like the first #1 assassin. So they kind of have like a little bit of a rivalry because the African-American guy, he retired and was like, I retired at a high note. I got a family now. And he goes, I just, it's not what I don't care. And so he's like, well, you should care. That way I can't beat you. Anyways. So they go into the party. The party has like all these people, all these other assassins, and they're all different rankings, obviously. And it's just kind of like it's like a soiree, but they're trying to kind of introduce the characters in a way. Like they kind of have like these little quips between the thing, and then there's this little Japanese girl like playing on the phone, and he's like, oh, are you even old enough to be an assassin? And he's like, who are you? And she's like, smoke, and that's all she does. She's just like kind of ignoring everybody and just kind of sitting there. And then it introduces some of the other characters. Then they come to find out, there's this one guy that kind of goes around to the whole place. He's like, oh my God, you're my favorite. He goes, will you sign this book? Oh my God, you're my favorite. Will you sign this book? And so it's kind of like this cute little, like, he's got this enamoration with all the other assassins. And so it's kind of fun. And then they introduce this older guy. He goes, I'm one of the top assassins because just because I kill old people. He goes, I do euthanization. So he's like that's the whole reason I'm here. So then the current #1 assassin walks in, and he's this big kind of macho guy. He's got like his shirt open. He's like yes, my body is a deadly weapon. He's like he's kind of like this. He's got a big giant purple suit,
right? And he's a super mook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But he just makes this big deal out of everything, and so it's pretty awesome. So then the guy that originally started interrogating the blonde guy that was interrogating the other guy that was kind of starting the comic out, he kind of calls everybody's attention. He's like, look, he goes, somebody's trying to assassinate me, so I figured the best way to get an assassin is to hire the best assassins. He goes, so I'm going to give you all, a cut to protect me and find this other assassin. Of course, they all turn on him because somebody has already offered them money to kill him. So he's like, oh, this is how it's going to be. So then the macho guy just starts like breaking arms and snapping people's heads and like killing people. And then hilarity ensues. Like they all start shooting each other.
Limbs fly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's like, like this guy's snapping necks. This guy's shooting people. He gets thrown through a wall. Then all the other ones just start shooting each other. And the blonde guy has this one character. He's like, aren't you supposed to be protecting me? He's like, I'm trying. He's like, he's fighting all these other assassins. So then he starts shooting them, and they kind of get to a point where it's most of the assassins are dead, and there's just a few left. And one of them is the macho guy, and the macho guy is like, he's like really bad. And then all of a sudden, somebody blows his head off, and it's smoke.
I was about to say, I bet it was smoke. Yay!
Yeah, she's just sitting there on the chair, and she's like, bam, done. She's like, yep. She goes, it's okay. I've had a hit on him for a while. You know, she pulls out the paper. She's like, just to take care of business. So then the ones that are left over, he's like, so are you all in to help me? And so they all kind of are alluding to they're going to be in agreement to protect this guy. So the leftover assassins are going to be, I guess, help this other assassin. Maybe.
To be determined.
To be determined. I'm assuming that's what the premise of the book is going to be like, you know, of course there's going to be one person that's probably the one that's supposed to be killing him. And so it was really fun. Like, it was a lot of fun. I thought... and
it's Assassination?
Assassination.
Okay.
And, like, I mean, the characters were funny. They were, like, all caricatures of a kind of, like, a stereotype. But they were interesting. And it's like, I really want to know more about them. The art was really fun. I wasn't a huge fan of the art when it was Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, but I feel like for some reason it works really well in this. It almost reminds me of another book that I like, Outer Darkness, but it's like it's just got this dynamic flow to it. It's very energetic, but the story is pretty simple. It's not like something complex. It's a really fun read. It's just kind of like, you know, chaos. It's pure action, pure like comedy. So it's just a lot of fun. So I really recommend this book. I would say probably a 5 out of 5 unicorn horns.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. Great number one story. Really great start to the series. So I'm curious to see how it's going to continue. But I don't know. Like, for a number one book, this was really fun. Like, cool. They didn't skimp on a lot of things. So
let's see. All right. Uncanny X-Men.
Okay. Let's get this crap show over.
This one was different. I was like,
I don't even know. So the writer is, I don't know,
Sina Grace.
Sina Grace.
And the artist is Nathan Stockman.
Yes. That's a little bit easier.
Yes. This one, obviously, it was easier to jump into.
Familiar characters.
Characters. So I didn't feel like I was
trying to play catch up the whole time.
Right. This one was easier to just jump into and read. And so it starts in Delaware, and there's some kind of like natural disaster, a flood, and Iceman comes in with his creations or goons, whatever. His
golems.
Yeah. I knew it was a G word. And
all of them were great.
Yes. And so he's coming in to help and assist the people who are displaced or in danger from the flood. And then, of course, you've got the
jerk.
The rhetoric, the jerk, who's, of course, not wanting to play nice with the mutants. And then this one kind of panned back and forth. I felt as far as timeline wise, because from Delaware it goes to Xavier's Institute, and Iceman is a professor there, and so there's a student that is kind of torn between staying and not staying with the X-Men.
Her powers is like corrosive spit.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
she just doesn't know what she can do with it.
Right. Yeah. She feels limited.
Yeah.
The teen angst. And so, she says her piece and they wish him a happy birthday. And then he's off, and runs into his future self.
Yes.
Which, I guess is the Ice Master. And I guess between the current time and this future time, he develops more powers and all these other things.
He's been alive for many years because he kind of finds out he can be immortal through his ice clones.
And so the future self it's kind of a common theme. Future self going back to try and right the wrongs. And then this part with the village.
So this is it's Bobby's birthday. So Kitty Pryde is trying to get a birthday party together, and so this is the birthday party people she's getting together.
Okay,
and that's why later on they bring in his family, and she's like, "I've been trying the whole time to keep your family from saying rude things."
Right.
So.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of got it just a little bit. I was like, what is going on? But I really liked the Ice Master character. How just the aging I thought he looked really neat. And so he starts talking about what happens in the future and how he wasn't able to... I feel bad spoiling things.
Just do it.
And so it shows the battle in the future and what his purpose was, and he was trying to stop obvious catastrophe from happening, but then he was double-crossed.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 by a lover. Dun,
Yes.
dun, dun. And so so he is going back. So it tells the story of him being double-crossed and trying to go back to stop that from happening.
So he gets double-crossed by Dakin, who is Wolverine's son, and Dakin double-crosses everybody. Like, he double-crosses Deathbird, he double-crosses Eric, he double-crosses Iceman, he double-crosses everybody.
Right.
So he's a super meanie pants.
Yeah, but they should have known by his hair and the tattoos. That doesn't really scream... Doesn't really scream
He's a wholesome
good guy.
hero person.
Yes.
And the fact that he's killed thousands of people, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
He was a bad guy, like, totally trustworthy there now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Just, yeah. You should have known going in.
Yeah. It's like, did you see his hair?
Did you see the hair? Did you see the tattoos? This does not bode well.
Does not scream wholesome.
No, it does not.
Does not scream good choices.
Nope. So I really, and then it goes back to the current time, and then so Iceman in the present battles his future self, and then they're trying to get back to the... I don't know. It jumps between the fight and then this birthday party that they're trying to get everything organized.
Because then Kitty's like, where's Iceman at? And so she sends Jean.
Yes, and then Jean shows up, and then my Ice Master loses his baby mind.
Yes, he goes crazy.
He gets a little bit disturbed, and so there's the kind of a showdown of how he is obviously not over being outed.
Yes.
And so
by Jean's younger self.
Yes, by Jean's younger self. She kind of has no idea what's going on or what his beef is.
Right.
So
it's Yeah. I'll let you finish and then I'll give my opinion. We're gonna go through this.
And so just the back and forth of present self doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
And he doesn't want to be, the one to sacrifice himself. Jean Grey shows up. She has no idea. She's just trying to help.
Yeah.
Iceman, he's pretty much...
lets go of all his stuff that he's been holding on to.
You're right. Yes.
He's got a lot of stuff.
Lots of stuff. A lot of inner turmoil. Probably should have had a little bit of therapy.
A little bit of therapy.
Probably.
A little bit of talking it out. Maybe some puppets.
That would have been helpful. Yeah. I definitely feel
yeah.
Something to bring it on home.
So, Iceman, what problems do you have? Well, let me tell you.
Should have seen the tattoos. It all starts there.
But finally, he makes it to the party.
Finally, he makes it to the party. And then hilarity ensues.
Yes. And then, so they kind of, this particular book, I feel like, was trying to wrap up all the stuff that they had in the Iceman series that maybe they didn't have a chance to wrap up or didn't have, wasn't able to end properly. It's like they used this book to wrap up all of that stuff. And it really felt like that's what it was trying to wrap up everything.
I was going to say, there were a lot of little bits and pieces. And then with the Shade character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And then it's just like, it just got over the top. And I felt like even as a gay man, I felt like it was too gay. Like, I was like, you went too far. Like, everything was like, it was like, being gay is not always like, that's just part of who you are. Like, I feel like they made that everything about him. Like,
yes, that was a big,
huge.
thing.
The whole month, the entire book, like, every time they could fit something in that was gay, they fit it in.
yes.
Which I guess is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It just feels jumbled and forced and not very natural. And I feel like even with him, like, even like the interaction between him and Jean, even though he was upset, was really awkward. Like, it didn't work well. Like, it was just like he was upset and then he wasn't. You know, it's like
Yes.
it's like if that was something bugging you that much that you had to like get it out in the middle of a fight, you know, and then now you're just fine with it. It's like, it's kind of weird.
Again, he probably should have had some therapy.
Yeah. Some therapy would have helped. But then, I mean, like, they even talk about his ex-boyfriend, and then they talk about, they have the drag queen character, they have, like, all these other things, and they allude to, like, all these other things that maybe he might be, sleeping with this person, and, like, it just kind of, it was too much for me. Like, I got done with it, and I was just like, I was kind of mad I read it. I was like, I'm just angry.
All that time wasted.
I know. I mean, but it was really neat because he helped the Morlocks. You know, Emma Frost. Again, in his book, Emma Frost brings in her brother, and her brother is kind of has like this craziness, and so her brother kind of helps him out by giving him money, and he uses the money to set up a foundation for the Morlocks, which is really cool. And he kind of had some closure with his ex. You know, they kind of. So I mean, I guess it wrapped up everything, but it was just, for me, it was really forced.
Right.
And honestly, I really didn't care for the art that much. I thought, you know, a lot of the stuff was ill-proportioned and awkward and very, like, not my particular style that I care for. I just didn't think it worked really well with this particular book. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm sure other people would love the art. I didn't care for it myself.
Excuse me.
So I would probably, what'd you think?
This one, probably a 3 or a 4 because it was easier to follow.
The characters are more familiar for you.
Right. It was definitely easier to jump into.
Yeah. I could imagine that.
And then, as far as the art, the birthday scenes, I didn't enjoy the art on those.
I think it was harder to tell who was who in those scenes because they were out of like their uniforms. Mm-hmm. So like Kitty Pryde, it took me a minute. Like unless they would have said it was Kitty Pryde, I didn't recognize her as Kitty Pryde. So that was kind of a weird thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I liked the Ice Master. I thought he looked neat. I enjoyed.
So I would give
his
it.
Look.
I probably don't give it that high. I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5 unicorn horns, and only because I love the X-Men, so that's probably the only reason I'd give it a higher grade. But it is what it is. I read it. It's done. Thank gosh. All right, so I'm going to do Calamity Kate, #1, and another #1 issue. This one's by Dark Horse. Let's see. Magdalena Visaggio and Corin Howell were creators and writers and artists. And this particular book is about this girl named Kate, and she is a monster hunter. So it starts off with her driving down the road. It kind of does some exposition. She jumps out of her car with a big giant ninja sword, and then it cuts to another scene. So I'm assuming that she's going to attack a monster because she kind of introduces herself. My name is Kate, and they call me Calamity. And so then it cuts to this lady talking to her daughter, trying to get her daughter to get dressed in appropriate clothing and not Wonder Woman costume. And then Calamity shows up at her door. You kind of find out that they're old friends, and they become, they really are, but they haven't seen each other for a while. So there's some conflict a little bit, or like a little bit of tension. But then she like kind of smooches her way into letting her stay with them. And so she's like, okay, fine. So she's like, I could use the help anyways. And so Calamity is like kind of talking to her, telling her about what's going on. And, I'm a monster hunter. I'm one of the top monster hunters. I want to be a monster hunter, one of the top monster hunters. Then she goes, actually kills a monster, and says on the news that I'm going to be the top one. I'm going to be, I'm going to beat Javelin, Javelin is apparently the number one monster hunter. And so she's like, I'm Calamity and I'm here to stay, throws down the gauntlet. It cuts to a little bit later where it shows where Calamity told her friend, she's like, look, I'm just going to be here for a couple days, let me get on my feet. And it's 6 months later. And so she's like, trash the girl's house out. It's like, there's the monster head in the fridge. The daughter's running around with monster bones. And so the mom's like, no! She's like, you have to get your stuff together. You can't bring that stuff in here. And Calamity pulls in this monster. And she's like, I'm going to strip this thing down. In the kitchen. You might want to get out. It's kind of gross. And so she finally flips out. And she's like, you can't do this. And she's like, look, I got to stay here. I got a plan. I'm going to fight all the number one monsters, and that's going to end all the monsters. And she goes, I'm going to be the best. And so she goes, and the mom character, she kind of is like, she begrudgingly lets her, try to do her work. And then it cuts to her, Calamity, finding this nest of monsters. Shows up, she gets into the building, and all the monsters are dead. The scene's kind of like chaos, and she turns around, and it's Javelin, the one that she's kind of competing against. She's like, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Javelin. I'm the number one monster hunter. And then it cuts to the end.
Oh, Bob.
I know. And then, so, seriously, really, really fun book. Nothing terribly heavy in this book at all. The art is really just kind of entertaining. It's very dynamic. They've got some really great poses. The facial expressions of some of the characters are really, really good. I really like the mom character. I can't remember her name, but I think she's funny. She's talking to her daughter, trying to get her into the, to wear clothing that's appropriate for school. And the daughter comes out, and she's like, she still has all the same stuff on, but she's got a tutu and a tiara. She's like, there's a tutu and the tiara, and we got a deal. And she's like, cool. So it's like, it's just funny stuff like that. It's just really kind of like reality a little bit, I think. Mm-hmm. And so it's cute, and it's just kind of fun. And I can almost see this as like a TV show where it's like, like a buddy cop TV show, or like a, like bosom buddies kind of. But I thought it was really entertaining. Premise is not super hard to get on board. A little bit more of an adult theme, though. A lot of some cussing and some adult alluding things, but it was not wasn't really aggressive, wasn't it's just fun. Little decapitating demons,
Cutting your tongues out of their
Cutting
heads.
the tongues out. It's just,
good stuff.
Monster stuff. Wholesome stuff. So I thought it was really good. I really look forward to seeing what issue 2 is going to bring. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this. Obviously, this is kind of a short-term premise, so I'm curious how they're going to continue this on into a longer-term premise of the book. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping. I'm not hoping, but I kind of want the mom to become a monster hunter too.
Ah,
because it'd be funny,
with the daughter.
Yeah, with the daughter. Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of hoping that's the way they're going to go, but I don't know. So I'm curious to see. So again, just like Assassination, another great number 1 book. A lot of fun. Great art, so I give it probably a 5 out of 5 unicorn horns just because it's a good start and fun book. Sometimes I feel like everybody says, "Oh, this is a great book. This is the best comic ever," but it's this heavy, meaty. Really, you have to kind of pay attention to stuff. Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes it's nice when the comic books are light and kind of just look. Here's the premise. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have fun. Let's do this. And so, yeah.
Yes, a lot of them. It's a really heavy subject.
Yes.
And
I think the one that you're going to do next, the one you're going to review next is very similar. I feel like if it wasn't for certain characters in this particular book, mm-hmm. it would be a really dark book. And it has been in the past. So
okay,
I'll let you go ahead and do your last book.
This one?
X-23.
Okay.
Yep.
I really, really enjoyed this. If you watched
Like mother, like daughter.
Yes, if you've watched before, Raylan the hyena, she really, really loves Gabby. And
loves the honey badger.
Yes, has strong affinity with
honey badger
the honey
birthday
badger.
cake.
Yes. And so I was a little bit familiar with her character, and X-23. And so this one was definitely really easy to jump into. And I enjoyed it so much. I went back also like Raylan did and to read some of the earlier ones. This one opens with X-23, Laura, at a facility where Robert Chandler,
the guy
obviously,
created her, yeah,
super bad guy.
Super bad guy, douchey beard.
Yes, again, you should know.
Just by the beard.
Just by the beard, not going to be a nice guy. And so she enters the fray and learns what the purpose is of all of these androids or cyborgs. And basically they are X-23s, but they have removed the healing
so that they can be disposable.
So they're disposable. So it's very tragic.
Well, it's also, I mean, like, it is extremely tragic, but it's also kind of smart, because I thought that was kind of an interesting little, like, that small nuance where the guy goes, it's even better for manufacturers, because it's one of the things that you never think about. Well, I mean, you think about it, but, like, manufacturers don't make things to last, because if they made things last forever, you would never buy anymore.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting that they kind of, like, used that as a way to, like, cut the DNA so that they wouldn't heal, so that they would die, so that they would actually have to buy more. Which I'm like, it's marketing genius. Like,
yes.
I mean, grotesque, but still.
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely, this one, I thought that its storyline could be, just on the surface, a lighter topic, but when you really think about it's much more tragic and sad.
If it wasn't for Honey Badger in this series, I really think it would be, and like I said, it has in the past, where it's been this dark, brooding, assassin, woe is me, kind of dark past book.
Right.
Which, all the stuff, if you ever read X-23, or if you've ever known any of her story, is very dark.
Right.
But because of Gabby, like,
she definitely
it makes
likes
it. Yeah, it makes it a lot more tolerable, a lot more not upbeat isn't the right word. It just makes it a little bit more accessible, I think, too, to where you're not like depressing the street all day.
Agreed. Yeah, I really enjoyed their stories, and also just the dynamic between Laura and Gabby. I think Gabby brings out the more humanity from X-23, because X-23 tries to be so cold and unattached,
right?
Obviously because of her past, and so so she goes in and she's planning on taking out all of this warehouse full of the cyborgs, and then Gabby is kind of waiting in the wings, and so whenever she gets the call from Laura, she goes in, and then they have one of the cyborgs from the previous books coming to help them. And so obviously mass butt kicking occurs with
lots of death and murder,
lots of murder, death, explosion, and body parts going everywhere. It's
like Michael Bay and Jet Li together.
Yes. And so as they're trying to take out as many cyborgs as possible, Chandler is trying to escape. And Laura goes after him to make everything stop, because if they don't stop him, it's just gonna continue.
Start all over again.
So while Laura goes to the helicopter to try and stop Chandler, Gabby and the cyborg that they have kind of taken on with them.
Yes.
Is helping. It's just so good. I love this story.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
And so Gabby and the cyborg, they go to the control panel and with the plan that they're going to stop Chandler and they're going to stop all of these.
And in order to get to the control panel, the cyborg kind of points out that that's where, you know, she's kind of, she doesn't talk, so she kind of points out that's where it's supposed to, you know, we need to be up there.
Right.
And so, of course, Gabby's like, she gets super excited, and she's like, that's my special!
I can do this!
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, she gets flying up there, and yeah, funny.
Yeah. And so as they're trying to make their way to the control panel, the cyborg is injured.
Yes.
And they know from the previous books with Beast that she won't be able to regenerate. And so there's this kind of deep heart-to-heart moment. And Gabby takes on the task of being able to shut down all the cyborgs, and the cyborg goes to help Laura.
Yeah.
And of course, in a great show of love and sisterly camaraderie, the cyborg saves X-23 and takes out Chandler, and Gabby shuts down all of the cyborgs. And so it was really, really a gripping sad end. But really good. I love a strong female character driven story. So,
I don't disagree.
So yeah, I was hooked.
And plus, like, the ending is really cute, where she actually finally comes up with a name for her.
Yes, and I really enjoyed that because they knew their time was limited with the cyborg, and just Gabby takes on she loves everyone.
She really does.
And so it was very important to Gabby that she figured out a name and an identity for, you know, the cyborg that became so important to her in such a small amount of time. And then of course Jonathan, he's the glue. He's the glue that binds them.
If they weren't so mean, I'd run on Honey Badger. I think it'd be fun.
I don't care that they're mean. I still
Go with your big like suit, like one of those dog suits. You know,
yes.
Yeah. No. That's not okay. We need non-angry animals.
No, but I would definitely, of course, I would give this a 5.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't disagree. I'd probably say 5 out of 5. Now I have to say that the as far as X-23 stories, I think this is, again, going back to the lighter tone, I think, with Gabby, and still has some weight to it, you know, with the clones and stuff like that, the love and the, you know, the loss. And so it's a really interesting book. It's not super dark. It's not super funny. It's just kind of like, it was got
really
a lot
well
of good
balanced.
Yes.
I enjoyed it so much.
I would say, I'd say probably 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. And the sad part is, like, well, I mean, not sad part, but I'm not a huge Wolverine fan. I don't like Wolverine. I think they use him too much. I think he's too mainstream. It's kind of like Spider-Man. They've just gone too far with everything. Mm-hmm. You know, just like, it's just, I think they made him too much. So in that aspect, I never liked X-23 just because it was just like, oh great, more Wolverine. Oh great, fantastic, woohoo! Somebody can't die, assassin. Oh, they're dark, and so it just kind of got a little what's the word? Contrived? No, it's
redundant.
Redundant. That's a good one. So it just seemed like it was like, oh great, here's another here's another cash cow that they're trying to make. But like, it's a completely different story. Like, I mean, they definitely have made her X-23 into a different character. They've made her into her own story, her own cast, and so I have to eat my own words by saying that I'm actually really impressed with the way they've handled X-23, and I like with you guys. I'm just been going back trying to read them as I can.
Yeah, I really enjoy her story. I enjoy Gabby. Yeah, and
And then Gabby just, I mean, like she really does. Like I would like to read her book. I think she's just hysterical. So.
Yeah, I just want to be best friends with her.
I do. I do. I'm like, coolest kid ever. Like maybe we can. Well, no, Kelly's still broken, so we might have to start all over again to get us to Gabby. So the last one I'm gonna do is another number one, and it's the from the Age of the X-Men. It's Apocalypse and the X-Tracts. Sadly, this book was extremely disappointing.
Aww.
I know. The writer was Tim Seeley and the artist was Salva Espen. So it starts off talking about these mutants that are dead. They die in some kind of radiation. Then it cuts to Dazzler. She's kind of like a beatnik hippie singer, and so she's kind of singing, and there's all these like beatnik hippies with their braids and they're all black, and so she gets a call and she leaves, and then it shows Kitty Pryde and what was his name? Is it Eye-Boy? They're kind of doing some kind of mission, trying to figure something out, and they're kind of going back and forth because in this world you're not supposed to love people, you're not supposed to have like relationships. It's kind of forbidden. You're just kind of supposed to be at peace with yourself, and that's where you're supposed to stay. And so there's like, there's no kissing, there's no contact. So Eyeball Boy kisses Kitty Pryde, and it's kind of this weird thing. He's like, but we're supposed to express this. That's what Apocalypse is trying to get us to do. Or Insabanura, they don't call him Apocalypse. Insabanura is supposed to help us with, expressing ourselves. And he's like, I just wanted to try it. And she goes, yeah, but maybe we can try, maybe we can not do it so much. We need, because we need to figure it out. And so then it cuts to Genesis, where he is with Insabanura's child, and so he is trying to get this pamphlet out, and there's this weird mutant drag queen character again. I'm not quite sure what. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I don't know if it's a she or he. I'm assuming it's a he just because of the way they have him drawn. But I'm not for sure if it's a where they fit in the world. Like where they fit in the LGBTQ community. I'm not for sure where that they fall because I've never seen this character before, so I don't know. But they are trying to help Genesis with this pamphlet, and they misspell embrace. They miss the R, so Genesis gets really upset because he's like, I had one job and I'm supposed to help, and he messes it up, and so they come and they're like, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry about that. Then they all show up. They gonna go on this like acid trip to communicate with like some kind of telepathic something or other, and then Genesis expresses that he wants to be a superhero. He wants to go help them, so he's gonna send Genesis with the other heroes to on a mission to save this one particular guy that they find is like going to be helpful for them. Turns out that guy is a killer, and his name is Omega Red. So he's been, I don't know where that's the end, is like they show Omega Red. I don't even know what to say like about this book. It was really a little bit too hippy dippy, metaphysical. Like I feel like this whole arc was a little bit on the edge of being maybe a little bit too much, but it's actually they've made it work in the other books. But this particular book, I don't understand why this book is in here, other than to be like a bad guy. They need a bad guy, so they're making.
What is the purpose? What is the function?
Yeah, because he's not even really a bad guy. He's just trying to get people to love each other, and like it's just like. But then there's like this hippie. I don't even know. Like I can't. Just have to read it and figure it out. But I just don't think it was that well written. I don't think it was. The premise isn't that great, like clear. It's just kind of this. I don't know. We're gonna help people feel book, and meh.
Not today.
Humbug, yeah. Not today, Satan.
No.
So
it's
just
do the feels.
I don't do the feels. Yeah, not my favorite. I'd probably say 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. If I wouldn't have read this, I wouldn't. I don't think I would have missed anything. The art was okay. It was a lot like the Iceman, where it's just like ill-proportioned, a little weird at places. I don't understand what they were kind of the feel was the feel they were going with. I'm not for sure. It was a little bit of all over the place for me. So yeah, 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. Not my favorite. Sadly, some of the other books have been pretty decent. This unfortunately was not one of them, which I was really upset about because it's got 2 of my favorite characters, Kitty Pryde and Dazzler. Mm-hmm. So I was really hoping that it'd be really good because I love me some Dazzler, but yet again, she ends up in a shitty book. I'm like, awesome. So that was the end of all our reviews. So I'm gonna go through my pull list really quick, and then we will end the show. So I did My Little Pony Nightmare Magic or Nightmare Nights. It was the final issue. I started it with Kelly, and I had to finish it because I love My Little Pony. It's really cute. So this is the ending, and it ended pretty much like how you thought. The cat was kind of playing a bad guy, but kind of find out he was double crossing the bad guy by playing a bad guy, so they could steal Luna's magic back, and so at the end they all triumph.
Vindication.
Yeah, it was cute. Again, light, cute, middle of the road. I love the art though. The art's very colorful. It was really cute. They do really well. Funny. Yeah, so 4 out of 5 unicorn horns for me. I can definitely see where like other adults or other people that maybe are not into My Little Pony would not be, and so not be their book. You know, obviously it's for a certain audience, and it sticks to that audience for sure. Winter Soldier. It's the second to the last book. I think they're doing a 5-issue miniseries. It's okay. It's the he's taken on the sidekick. The sidekick's dad has shown up. Come to find out, his dad just got out of prison and kind of was like, trying to get the kid back, but he's trying to get the kid back for nefarious purposes. I know, it's horrible. Always use your children. Make sure to use your children and manipulate them at all possibilities.
Use them wisely.
Yeah, little puppets. So, but the art's really decent. It's like a Phil Noto book. It's really neat to see the color washes is really pretty, and the story is pretty good. It's a standard middle of the road kind of book. So 3 out of 5 unicorn horns. But if you're a Winter Soldier fan or a Captain America fan, it may be really good because it does kind of like some espionage-esque kind of feel to it. So it's interesting. Outer Darkness. I love this book, and I'm probably like on an island by myself with this one, but I love Outer Darkness. It is the weirdest premise. It is like, ghost and exorcist in space.
Okay.
So it's the weirdest thing. But in this book, I like this one because it's issue 5, and they kind of start sewing the threads of a continuing story. So there was a story that happened last time. This guy is possessed by a demon, but they don't know about it. He kind of sabotages the ship. This book is continuing from that. The ship crash lands. They're trying to survive on this planet till they can repair stuff. And so they split up into 2 teams. One team is going to investigate these caves. The other team is going to start getting the ship back in order. And the team that goes to the caves is the one where the possessed guy's on, and he kills the entire team.
Ugh.
Da, 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 da.
Not a good day.
No, not a good day. Not a good day. Bad day for everyone. So I really just like Afu-chan was the guy that does the art, and I just love his art. It's just so fun. Like, it is super cartoony. It is just like super dynamic. The colors are so like weird and pastel-y almost, but it just really works for this book. I cannot say enough great things about this book for myself.
I'll have to read it then.
Yes. Yeah. You have to start with number 1 though, because if you start here, you'll just be like,
no. Okay.
So, and the characters, like each of the characters, there's even just one character like in a panel, and it looks like this weird robot. And I just really want to know like her story. I'm like, she's not even a character, but I just really want to know her story. Like, who is this girl? Like, she just looks so much fun. She's this little like purple robot gremlin looking thing, and I'm just like, who are you? I don't know, but I want to know you. I want to be your friend and figure out why you look so weird. Are you a fish? What are you? And it's like this little cat lady. She's the Oracle, but she's really like this old lady. She's really like this old lady but she's considered, she's the Oracle / beauty, and so she actually transforms into this beautiful woman and is sleeping with the first officer. So it's just like fun little things. Like, it's just crazy stuff. So yeah, you'll have to try it out and tell what you think. But I really liked it. Like I said, I cannot say enough things about Outer Darkness. I just love it. I also read The Life and Death of Toyo Harada. It's a Valiant book. It's kind of... I feel like if you don't know the world of Valiant, then it's a little bit odd. So for me, I mean, it wasn't bad, but
definitely hard one to jump into.
Right. Even though it's a #1 book, like I feel like it's a #1 for this universe that's been going on for a while.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like they're prequeling this world that they already established. So I have no idea. So I'm like, and I read the old Valiant books, but so I know the character kind of a little bit just from the old books. But this is kind of different than what it was before. So he's this immortal guy that he survived Hiroshima, and he amassed all these things, and he can control people's minds. And he is trying to... there's apparently some kind of alien technology debris field that surrounds the Earth. And so he's trying to... he's making this cable go up to the wreckage so they can have a faster line to get out the technology out of that asteroid belt. So, and people are trying to stop him. And he has like these 5 or 6 people that are trying to help him, but then they're kind of like infighting, so I'm not quite sure. I almost want to try #2 just because I'm like, I don't know what the heck's going on, but I kind of want to know. Like,
you're like, where are they going with
yeah,
this?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Who went where? Did we do Catwoman?
No, we haven't.
Oh, did we not do?
But I read it.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought you did your 3. Did I miss one?
No, I did.
You did 2?
No, I did 3. I did Asgardians. And then Uncanny X-Men. And then I read Catwoman, and then I also read X-23.
That's right. So Catwoman was pretty good. I really liked the art was really cute. I like the art. Obviously, Joel Jones as an artist is amazing, but this one is kind of fun. It's got like this very lean and long look to her.
Yes.
Her like doing this little, what do they call the 1-2 cha-cha-cha?
Yes. And I think, and that one was easy to jump into as well.
It was kind of like they're starting a new arc, so it was kind of a little bit more understandable.
Yeah.
But it was really cute. Like it was almost like an Ocean's 11 kind of thing where they kind of do this particular heist, but it's not really the heist that they were. It's like kind of misdirection to do a different heist. So that was kind of fun.
Distraction on one side.
So I would definitely give that that's probably like 4 out of 5 unicorn.
I would
really
say
fun.
the same. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I read Wonder Twins #2. It was a I don't know, different book. Like they went really funny. Like they're almost doing a comedic book, and then at the very end it was like a little dark. It was like, ooh, like they just killed everybody. Wow, that was kind of intense. I wasn't seeing that. Wasn't ready for that. All right. So, but it's kind of a fun book. I definitely think it's for a younger reader, maybe like a teen reader. Like I don't think it's definitely. Occasionally, maybe the 80s references are kind of fun, but definitely middle of the road book for me. 3 out of 5. Unicorn Horns. Scooby Apocalypse #35. I think they're getting ready to end it. It was fun. Like it's just like a stupid book. Like it's just like I don't know, zombies, and then like to see the characters, Scooby-Doo characters, in these like different ways is just kind of weird and funny. So like I feel like it's supposed to be heavier than what it actually is, and it really isn't because it's just kind of weird like seeing like. Freddy a zombie, a nanite zombie, and Scooby-Doo a cyborg, and Shaggy in love with Velma, and I'm just like, it's just kooky and funny.
Yes, you're like, that's not.
This
doesn't make sense.
It's not my Scooby-Doo, but it's still entertaining. So I would say probably 3 out of 5 Unicorn Horns. I'm probably gonna finish it out, and then maybe possibly if I ever have time to go back and read the rest of them. Supergirl, I don't even know why I read that. Like it's gone downhill. Like. They set out to do this one thing, and they have totally sidelined. They set out to find out who killed Kandor or Krypton, who blew it up. They're supposed to be mass murdered. She's investigating this, and it's gone totally left field into this weird side story. And I'm not liking the side story. I'm like, you need to get back to what you were doing. Like, so 2 out of 5 Unicorn Horns. The art was really good though. And then my standard books that I usually read, Marvelous X-Men. Again, it's just a continuation of that weird world. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this. It's just a different kind of book that I'm not really sure if it's good or bad. It's just kind of middle of the road. But honestly, like, I want something to happen. But they don't fight villains. They don't fight anything. I'm like, eh. So 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. Because, I mean, like, the thing that they're fighting is, like, emotions. Like, they're fighting not being in love with people. And I'm like, it's not really a book. Like, that's Oprah. Like, Oprah needs to get you in touch with your feelings. X-Force number 4. It's the finishing of the arc. They finally reveal what Kid Cable is trying to do. He's trying to find Rachel, who got turned into a hound and stolen in the other X books, Extinction, I think. And so, yeah, they finally finished this off. And I really wish they would find a different artist, because the art's just kind of, yeah, it's like it started out kind of interesting and kind of different, but now it's just getting kind of scribbly and a little bit too loose, too comedic, or too cartoony. I don't know. Like, it's not my favorite.
Was that supposed to be Gambit?
No, that's Ahab.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's Ahab.
My goodness.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. Like, I mean, I get it. It's kind of like a stylized art, which I think it would work for a book maybe where I don't know the characters. Like if it started off as a book, but as a lot of these characters were coming in, I'm like, they look weird. So, but still, I mean, interesting, entertaining story. 3 out of 5 unicorn horns. Runaways. I love this book. I was thinking about this the other night. This is the one book that I read that is not a superhero book, but has, like, I still am entertained by it. They really don't fight a lot of villains. They fight occasionally in a villain, but most of it's just like a story about their life and trying to survive in this world and kind of becoming an adult, which is normally sounds really stupid, but for some reason, because they have superpowers, it's kind of funny and they make it witty. And so teen angst, I always say that about this book, and it's just so true. Molly goes with Alex, and they are trying to plan a way to resurrect their parents. Yeah, so it's just this funny quipping between each other, and
I really like her hat.
I know, she's got did you see her little boots too? She's got these little, like, monster boots.
Oh, those are cute.
Yeah, so she's like, she's got these little cute monster boots and this little monster hat, and
I think I need that outfit.
I think we should maybe knit you one. Maybe that's what
I would really like that.
And so it's just a cute little book, like, but it's entertaining, and the art. This is a new artist, and it took me forever to realize it wasn't the new artist, because it looks so much like the old artist. They did really well with the transitioning, and whoever picked this up has done really well. I really love it. It's just beautiful and so colorful. So yeah, I give this the highest recommendation, probably 4 out of 5 unicorns, almost 5 out of 5, because I really do enjoy looking forward to this book every month.
Cute.
We already went over Uncanny X-Men. We're going to revisit that crap show. Avengers No Road Home. Still a really good story. They're doing a weekly series. Lots of fun. The artist changes, which I don't like, but I get why they do it, because in order to do a weekly book, obviously one person can't do all the art chores. So I wish they would have all these in the bag by one artist and then go ahead and release it weekly. Just because sometimes when you change artists, it can be a bit of a, especially when it's in the middle of a storyline, it could be a bit of a throw, because you get so used to seeing these characters one way and then all of a sudden they're different. It's not as bad in this particular time. Last time in the No Surrender books, which was weekly, they had a harder time with that. This one's not as bad. The artists are, again, something similar, so it's not as jarring, but still it is kind of weird. But it's a fun story. Like, I really like it. They finally brought Conan into the Marvel Universe. Scarlet Witch has been shifted time-wise and world-wise into Conan's world at the very end. So, yeah, kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 unicorn horns. I like the team. I like they're going through their own stuff. God. I spent almost 2.5 hours looking for a forum online that I could go and bitch about this, because I'm so angry with this book. Why? G. Willow Wilson she's just I don't even know what this is. Like, this book is so stupid. It's like, it's dumb. Like, I don't even know. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it starts off with these, like, comedical, the three, the Pegasus, the Minotaur, and the Pan creature, and it's almost like the pan's getting ready to rape this girl, like is what it kind of seems like. And then, but it talks about how horny this horse is, and like, yeah. Oh. Yeah. He goes, not until I'm made intimate friends among all the local inhabitants. And he says, you must forgive Cadmus, he's lonely. Who does he like? And he goes, everybody. It's just like, okay. It's just like really, just trashy. So then they go to cut to this Titan creature shows up.
With its slutty horses and creatures.
I'm trying to mate everyone. Mate all the peoples.
Cool your jets.
Yeah, it's like, I'd say calm your boobs, but like they probably wouldn't. Then it cuts to Wonder Woman. She's coming to help, but like in the last book, Wonder Woman and Aphrodite were flying off to go find go find the other people, and now all of a sudden they're like flying to help them. It's really weird. And then so Wonder Woman realizes she can't stop the Titans, that she's not big enough. So then all of a sudden she disappears. So now she's got Titans fighting in this world, and she's like, I'll be back.
You're like, what?
Exactly. She goes and has a conversation, sits down with Amanda Waller to see if she can borrow one of her people. And she, and I'm like, do you not have a cell phone? You can't call nobody? Like, seriously, you can't find a payphone, something? You couldn't find... Like, you had to leave a national emergency with Titan creatures fighting to go call somebody, or to go talk to somebody in their office. So they probably flew halfway around the world. And this is my other problem with the last issue. The last issue, I think she spent like half the book flying everywhere. Like, it was literally like 5 or 6 pages out of 20 pages of her flying somewhere. Flying to this thing, or flying to that thing, or flying to this thing. And I'm like, she need an Uber. She needs something.
She needs a personal secretary. Somebody
to work her schedule out. That she is not flying all over the place.
Get her an organizer.
Exactly. You're flying here for the day, and then you get everything done today. So, come to find out, she gets Giganta. Giganta comes and fights the Titans, and it is literally the Giganta fighting a Titan is she pushes the Titan over a cliff, and the Titan breaks.
The end.
Well, that's how she beats him. And I'm like, that's the fight. And I'm like, you telling me Wonder Woman couldn't do that? She couldn't knock him over the cliff and break him apart? Like, it wasn't even like a big fight. So then there's like this talk about she wants millions of dollars, and Wonder Woman's like, I don't have that kind of money. She's like, well, I'm not doing it for free. I gotta eat. And it is the weirdest book in the world. And then they just walk off. And I'm just... Wonder Woman, what the heck? Like, it's so weird. Like, I don't understand. Like, the other books, it's so... 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. I'm so disappointed. They were doing so good with The Witching Hour, and but that was been several issues ago. And then the Ares... it's just so weird. Such a weird book. Speaking of weird books, Die, Die, Die. I love this book. Now, this is not for everybody. I can totally understand that. It is basically a bunch of assassins killing people, and it's amazing and grotesque and over the top. And yeah, it's just people get their noses cut off. It's twins fighting. It's like they're flying a UFO to stop a nuclear missile. The lady senator is like, she beat up this old guy. They have sex parties. Like, it's the craziest book in the universe. So yeah, amazingness, lots of fun. 5 out of 5 unicorn horns. Definitely not for everybody. I can definitely see why not. Mm-hmm. But lots of fun. Speaking of not for everybody, also Hit Girl. The other series have been really good. Like when they did the Rome one and they did Rome, they did Canada. This one's Hollywood, and this one is actually by Kevin Smith. This one goes a little too weird. Like, it's got, again, like, I don't know what the theme is with rape lately, but like the one guy tries to rape the actress, budding actress. And then somebody stops him and cuts off his boy parts. And she's literally called the Dick Taker. That's her name. And, yeah. So then the Hit Girl gets framed for it. And, yeah. So, fun times. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where Kevin Smith is going with this. 2 out of 5 unicorn horns, sadly. And the other series have been really good. And this one is just kind of trying to be over the top, which I feel like the other ones were over the top, but they still had a really decent story or a fun story. Mm-hmm. And this one, I'm not feeling it. 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. I don't even know why they made this book. They've literally taken the same characters and just made them a little bit different, and they're calling it a new book. And I'm like, why don't you just make a new book? Why don't you just do another Slayer? Why do you have to do Buffy redone? And it's like a rebooting Buffy. Okay. So it's like, I don't know why. Like, it's crazy. Buffy's now got a demon bat creature that she helps her fight vampires. And she's like, you're like my Pegasus? So, like, she's got, like, her own Pegasus, but it's the demon bat creature. And they did this, the guitar joke from the TV show, the guitar joke with Giles, because Giles is at a guitar playing, you know, a little assembly playing guitar, and Drusilla's not crazy. Cordelia's fighting the bat monster, and she's nice. It's these little weird things that actually would probably maybe be an okay book if it was different characters. But the fact that they took these characters that you know...
I was going to say, it looked... even the drawing of the characters, it looks like the characters from the TV show.
Yeah, and that's what it is, but they're just like, they're making them different. Like, it's just... I don't understand why they're doing it. I don't understand why they're redoing it. Like, if you're going to redo a book or completely overhaul it and make it completely different, then just do a different book. Like, right. You shouldn't do... Or if you're going to do it, then, like, do the character in a different environment. Like, maybe Buffy's no longer in Sunnydale. Maybe Buffy starts somewhere else, you know? Like, it's just... I just don't understand it. And sadly, it's as a Buffy fan, it's not... I just don't care for it. So, 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. Sadly. Justice League Dark, so good. They getting into some stuff. 5 out of 5 unicorn horns. Things is going to happen.
My goodness.
All these, yeah. They've got all the Lords of Order are coming. They're destroying Mira, which is the world of magic. And, this is good. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of magic. Lots of darkness. Really, I like the characters in it, which I really didn't think I would. I really thought I'd hate Man-Bat, but he's become one of my favorite characters because he's kind of weird and funny and awkward, and so, like, I really like it.
Yeah. And I love all things bat-related.
I know, you do. You just love the bats.
I do.
So 5 out of 5 unicorn horns, really good book. Another 5 out of 5 unicorn horns is Blackbird. Magical girl kind of book, but it's kind of twisted a little bit. So there's different cabals of magic users, and this particular girl is the daughter of one of the big magic families. But she thought all her family was dead, and turns out like they're actually like the leaders of this giant cabal. But they were trying to protect her from becoming a paragon, which is like a magic user, and ends up she was one the whole time, because in order to become a paragon, you have to be killed and then resurrected magically to become magical. And come to find out, she had actually died in this earthquake from issue 1, and they had brought her back, but they wiped her memory. So they haven't explained why they might wipe her memory. They're kind of alluding to she may bring the, like...
Oh, that's really pretty.
I know, it's so pretty. She may bring back, she may be a, like a harbinger of doom. Ooh. If she learns magic. So I'm thinking that's where they're going to go with it. And so, but... It's a really good story. The art is beautiful. The costuming in the book is really up to date and very classic. And I mean, just stunning. Even like they have these old grandparents that show up, and like the grandma's like in this like bougie green jacket with her little cute little flats with the pom-poms on them and her stylish little glasses. And the grandpa is like in this cute little white suit. It's just really great art. The art's fun. The story is interesting. The premise is kind of interesting because it's an old premise, a magical girl, but then they kind of twist it a little bit. And so, yeah, it's a really good one. I really like this one. 5 out of 5 unicorn horns. A lot of reading to do this week.
That was a lot of reading.
I know. I just realized that as I'm going through it. I'm like, I just feel like I'm talking and talking and talking. I'm so sorry. I still have a host, and I still take up the host show. You're welcome. All right, so that's going to be the end of our show. We want to say thank you to Monica for coming in and filling in our spots. And if James ends up sending me all his reviews, I will gladly post them, and we'll see what he has to say. Until then, if you can, like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications so you can be notified when we do new videos, when we post on Monday. I try to post on Monday. Sometimes a little later than normal, but still, I try to get them out. But until then, I hope your pull list is full. Bye.
Bye.